It's just a girls' night out. It's a boys' night out. I don't think that it should be like a time limit unless y'all sit down and y'all say it's gonna be a time limit.
Now, Christina, you remember what the old folk used to say? Ain't nothing open after 12 but some legs. So, I'm just saying.
Can this be the love I feel for you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speak Up Sis podcast. I'm your host, Angel Charmaine, and this is the place where women and men have an opportunity to share their stories, to inspire the stories of others. We say what you think nobody wants to hear, but everybody needs to know. We got a great lineup of things that we're going to talk about. There are some taboos, things that typically have been considered inappropriate with dating and marriage. And so I've got a wonderful lineup of panelists tonight to share their, like Q says, their opinions. We are not experts, but we are definitely going to give you the best advice ever about some taboos that just might be ruining your relationships. Let me introduce you all. Let's start with Mr. Brian down at the bottom. Brian Porter, how you doing? Let everybody know a little bit about who you are.
My name is Brian Porter. I'm honored to be on this podcast. Definitely a great opportunity. I'm a published author and podcaster and love giving people a jump start in life filled with hope and inspiration. And definitely looking forward to some awesome dialogue here with the other panelists.
That's what's up. Thank you so much for saying yes to the invitation. I appreciate you. All right, so let's go up top to Miss Aleceia. If you will, please tell the people a little bit about who you are.
Hey everyone, I'm Aleceia, aka Miss Angel's niece. She's known me for a long time now. I'm a proud millennial. I'm a proud graduate of Virginia State University. Shout out to my HBCU. And I am currently working for a nonprofit that is all about engaging youth in politics. So I'm super excited to be here to represent the millennials that got sense, because we are not all created equal. And I'm super excited to be here.
That's what's up. Are you okay with sharing your relationship status right here?
So I'm recently engaged.
Okay.
Getting married.
Congrats.
My life. So Marcus, if you're watching this, I love you.
I wanted her to share. She didn't mind, so that you all know, as we're talking about relationship taboos tonight, that we have a young one up in here who's going to be giving us some feedback, and she might actually glean a little bit from some of us more seasoned people in the room. So that's what's up. And yes, I love that girl. I love that girl. So let's go down here and meet Mr. Q, Quincy Shelton. Will you please introduce yourself to the people?
Yes, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm the host of the Talk to Q radio show. No experts, just opinions. It's a show for people to come into the mix and we discuss whatever the trending topic may be, relationships, current events, politics, and more. And it's a fun way, I guess, to kind of have an open discussion to expose people to new things and discuss things that you may not hear in mainstream media. So, again, thank you for inviting me into your humble abode.
Thank you, Q. I appreciate you for saying yes. I think this is your first time in Speak Up Sis land, right?
Yes, I believe it is.
I'm excited. I have been on Q's podcast, I believe, twice. Y'all have got to check. You gotta check out Talk to Q. It's hot, okay? And thank you for saying yes and coming into the space. Absolutely. And we're gonna go all the way over to Miss Christina Jackson. listen, I'm going to just go ahead and say I'm sorry for Miss Jackson before we get started tonight, because she is the business. Okay. Please, Christina, introduce yourself to the people.
I think you just did it. I don't know what else to say. No, but my name is Christina. I am 44 and a quarter. I have a 21-year-old daughter. She just made me a grandma. So hey. I teach culinary arts at the high schools in the town that I live in, and I am single. I couldn't wait to get on here because I want to hear what the men have to say. I want to hear what the young one has to say. I want to hear what Mr. Q got to say. I want to hear everything, because I need to find out what I'm doing wrong, or is it me, or is it them?
That part.
Right. Period.
Period. Pooh.
That's right.
That's what the children say. Period. Pooh.
Facts.
Facts. You're right. What's up, Chrissy? How you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight. I will be reading you all's comments. If you all have questions, you can join the conversation tonight. You are so welcome. How you doing, Zakia? It's good to see you in the building as well. We're going to go ahead and get started, because y'all know I don't like to beat no dead horses and do all that jaw jacking. So let's get with it. We're going to start tonight talking about relationship taboos, and we've got several of them that we're going to explore. We're going to take y'all on a little journey from dating to engagement to marriage. We're going to help y'all out. First thing, let's talk about social media. So you just met somebody, y'all been rocking for a little while. You both have social media platforms. We'll talk about Facebook, right? Because Facebook allows you to put up a relationship status. The first taboo is, are we telling folks that we're in a relationship on Facebook or no?
I think so. Not only, it's something that you're expressing in your life. That person makes you happy. That person is the one that gives you butterflies and stuff like that. So I do think that, but it's one of those things that you and the other person have to agree on. If that person doesn't want his business on social media or her, then I think that you should respect what they say. But if both of you guys agree, then I don't see a problem with it. Until if you break up and you start bashing and all of that, that's when it becomes a problem.
I agree with Ms. Jackson. It does have to be a mutual agreement. I don't think it's, for me personally, all that necessary to link with your significant other during the early part of the relationship. Now, if you have something long term, if you have an engagement or something like that, then maybe I guess you can go ahead and let the world know. But I did that once, where I said I was in a relationship with someone, and after about 6-7 months, when everything fizzled out, then I have to go back and undo all that stuff, which generates more conversation than, the fact that you announced you were in a relationship. So I think, for me personally, just keep it on hold. If it turns into an engagement or something extremely serious, then maybe at that point, let the world know.
I agree. I don't see anything wrong with it, but I've learned that not everything private needs to have public attention. Of course, you want to respect the other person. And so maybe it just means just keep it on the low, because you're still learning about one another, and you don't want everyone else's opinions while you're still trying to formulate in your mind if this is a go or not. So,
I don't believe in putting all my business out in the street. Y'all know I'm pretty personal when it comes to relationships and things like that and social media. However, I do think that if you are in a committed relationship, you decided to be exclusive with a person, or you're married, I think it's important that the people around you know that. I think it's a safe space, not just for you, but for other people. Because can't we just keep it 100? Y'all know when that guy sends you a friend request, or that girl sends you a friend request, you done been on their page, You done been in their about section. You done scroll down. You've already done your due diligence to figure out whether or not this person is single or not. I think it kind of helps to ward off misunderstandings. And it's not even just about there's no relationship status, but there are no pictures on the timeline of the significant other. There's nothing that says that this person is in a relationship. So now you just opened yourself up, not necessarily that you're going out looking, but you have people coming in. I just think it gets a little sticky when there's nothing anywhere in your social media that says you're already in a committed relationship.
Yeah, I agree with what each of you have said. I think everyone's situation is unique. So I feel like if you only have social media and it's strictly for your business, then I can see where you wouldn't post your significant other or talk about it as much. But if someone slides into your DMs, then that's the time for you to make it clear if they're not coming at you correctly. Like, if it is your regular social media and you just use it to interact with friends and family, I feel like when people come to your page, there shouldn't be any room for ambiguity. Whether you don't post a person or not, you should at least make it known, like, hey, I am in a relationship, whether that's, you know, in your bio or your profile picture, something. Because like you said, I feel like when you're not posting that person, it leaves room for people to try to come in and flirt with you or say things that might make you feel uncomfortable. Whereas if you made it clear in the beginning, it might not have been an issue. So I definitely feel like it's a case-by-case basis. But if you're very active on social media, then there should be at least one thing on your page. You don't have to post their picture all the time. Your whole social media doesn't have to be about them. But there's other methods and features on Facebook and social media where you can let someone know, like, you know, hey, I'm in a relationship, or it's complicated, you know, something.
I think we've got a bit of a consensus here. It's okay to not have all your personal business out in the street, but folks need to know you are just not available. And we got some people in the building. How you doing? Benjamin is asking, how can I join you all? Listen, you're gonna have to go to speakupsis.com/podcast. You can submit the guest form, and that is your way to get on to the panel. All right. So do that if you want to be a guest on Speak Up Sis podcast. How you doing, Denise? Thank you for showing up in the space tonight. Raphael, how you doing, brother? Raphael Tommy is the host of the Can You Blame Me podcast. He is one of my podcast brothers. And he says, I treat my girl just like I used to treat my favorite toy. I'm going to keep reading because I'm sure he's going to say something halfway right in a second. I treat my girl just like I used to treat my favorite toys. Take it out the box, shine it, and clean it up. Take it to school for a little show and tell. Then back to the treasure box you go. Oh my goodness. Raphael Tommy, we hear you. But what you saying is that people gonna know you in a relationship. They just ain't gonna see her all the time. Okay, we'll take that. How you doing? We got the podcasters in the building tonight. James Lampkin, that is one of my podcast brothers as well. He is the host of Conversations with Lamp. Y'all check him out. How you doing, Miss Betty? How you doing? It's good to see you in the building tonight as well. James says, honestly, a lot of people don't care about your relationship.
Social media is a mixed bag. You're going to have people that are disrespectful and try to shoot their shot anyway and say like, oh, you can't have friends. Like, then that's up to you to use your self-respect and let them know what's up. But I still don't feel like that's a reason to not, you know, post your significant other or make your relationship status clear.
Yeah, I agree.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
It's some messy people out there, but I say take the trash out before it starts stinking. That's all I'm saying, you know? Hey, I got to shout out my people. Erica Warren is the host of Dope Discussions with Erica. You all make sure y'all check her out. She is like a big sister in the podcasting world for me. So I appreciate you for popping on tonight. Erica says your relationship should be private, but not secret. That's good. Ashana says that's where you're supposed to draw the line. Exactly. Got to draw the line somewhere. James says I post my wife every blue moon. These men, we got blue moon posting. We got treasure box, letting them come out sometime to play. Woo. But you got to be careful. Sharing too much puts people into your relationship. I agree. But y'all better believe when the host of Speak Up Sis podcast get a man that she want to keep, y'all gonna see him one time. Then he going back in the treasure box.
Period.
Period, Pooh. Facts.
Right. Facts.
So let's go to our second relationship taboo. Conversations with the ex. So now we in a relationship. We decided what we're going to do on our status, our social media. We let them exes go. We still having conversations with the exes. What y'all doing?
No. Because that ex, it seems like, I'm going to say for me, it seems like when I get into a relationship or I'm seeing somebody, that ex starts to come back and wants to, well, you know, you love me. You know, I'm the best thing that happened to you. Well, then why aren't we together? Now you want to be with me because I'm with somebody else. I don't think that it's like one of those things, cut it off right then. Don't give him any room to even think that he can slide back in. I think you have to be upfront, honest. I'm with this person and me and you, you know, you wouldn't want anybody to slide up, you know, and try to talk to me. So why would you do it to the next man?
Fellas, what y'all got to say about them exes?
Personally, I believe there's no need to. Obviously, if there's kids involved in the situation and you're co-parenting, that's understandable. And there are times when you may be on a friendly, cordial basis with your ex. Especially in those times, there definitely needs to be respect and boundaries for those instances where you are on good terms with your ex. But otherwise, there's no need to. You can't bring what's in your rear mirror into your windshield. It doesn't work like that.
You about to cause an accident.
That part.
Yeah. Aleceia?
Yeah, that's a lesson that I had to learn. When I was younger, I was like, yeah, we can still be friends, you know, as long as we maintain boundaries. But being in a serious relationship, I understood that, no, like we cannot do that because for a while they might be like, yeah, we're just friends. And then that's when the questions start like, so what are you doing? Can we hang out? Like, I miss you. I love you. Like, I really regret not being with you. Like, I had to learn the hard way. Like, no, it's not worth the extra baggage. Let it go. Don't be a bag lady. Go ahead and cut them off while you can.
Actually, for me, it's a case-by-case basis because I have cordial relationships with my exes. I even had an ex I tried to get a job at my place one time because she needed a job. And just because a person,
the soul food thing, did you done went and got a job for somebody?
And well, she didn't get the job, but I tried. But the thing is
that was the Lord right there.
My thing is, just because someone is my ex doesn't mean that I dislike them or I, have disdain for them or things of that nature. Sometimes things just don't work out. Okay. And it doesn't mean that you can't be cordial with a person. So as far as someone, maybe if I see someone, hey, how's it going? Things of that nature. I say keep it at that level to where that's fine. If you want to send me a Merry Christmas text or something, because maybe you've met my family, Merry Christmas to you and your family or something like that. I don't have a problem with that. But if they cross the line, yeah, you got to cut them off the first time they do it. But I think until they cross that line, I think it's all right to be cordial. And when I say cordial, I'm not talking about meeting for lunch or anything like that. I mean, strictly, if you happen to run into each other, you can have a conversation and ask about each other's families.
Okay, so you're talking about I run into you, bump into you conversations, not conversations on the phone. I think for me, it's we still got each other's number. And so every now and then we have a telephone conversation. I think that's different from you seeing somebody at the mall and, hey, how you doing? I think those are two totally different.
Yeah, I agree.
Conversations.
I agree. I'm not talking about phone conversations. And and then for Erica just posted in the chat room that said she would have an issue with me if she was my woman and I got my ex a job. I was single at the time, so I mean I could do what I want, and so it wasn't an issue for anyone. So I didn't have a significant other to consider when I did that.
Gary, as well as Erica, said exes if you have kids, and Erica said small kids. That's one of those things that you can't get away from. Like if you're dealing with somebody that's got small kids, you're going to have conversations. I just think those conversations should be about the kids. Like, not how you feeling, you sick, oh, you sound like you got a little cold, how you doing, she ain't taking care of you right, or he ain't I can come over there and make you feel better, come on, let's keep it 100. That's how those conversations with exes, that's how they go into when you move away from the children. Now it's all about reminiscing.
But sometimes, that's hard. I've been in that predicament before, that I get into a relationship and he has a child and I bond with that child, because you cannot, if it's a package, if just like I want you to treat my child with respect, I want you to know that I'm going to treat your child with respect. So, that's like one of them things that, do I still cut them off because I'm not with them, or would that be disrespectful to the person that I'm seeing now, to say, oh, hey, pick up the phone, oh my gosh, how is such and such doing? And then that's when you remember when we did this, you remember I was just looking at the picture. And it's kind of hard, I think, for me when kids are involved, because I'm a kid person. So I just think that that's one of those things that I think that's the hardest for me, because you bond, you have a relationship not only with the man, but with the child. So it's like when you break up, you're breaking up. Do I break up the relationship with that child, or do I still, you can bring her over here. Our children played with each other. They grew up as sisters. That's like that. Do you break off that? It's hard.
Yeah. Gary says, so if y'all break up, does that mean you break up with the families too? This is what makes these things taboo, because this whole communicating with the ex thing, it just opens the door to so much more. And I think that's really going to be about how you feel about the relationship that you're in. Are you in it for real, for real? Are you serious about it? Are you going to do the right thing and make good decisions, and y'all trust one another so that you're able to still communicate, with the children and that kind of thing? I'm going to say this. I remember being in a situation where, because I'm cool with all my exes, because they all wish they would have stayed put. But anyway, period, pool, facts. Okay. I'm usually cool with everybody, but I'm going to tell you what I would do. I stopped going to the Christmas events. It's like, Angel, you want to come? We're doing Christmas. No, because you're dating somebody else. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't want to be the new girl who's got to go into the event and see the old girl because everybody love her. So I personally I took myself out of the picture. It doesn't mean that I don't like the mom now, whatever. I see the mom's like, hey, how you doing? You know, whatever. I still got some moms, but like, you know, you should have been my daughter-in-law, you know. But I don't call. I'm not going over to events. I'm not doing family anythings because I respect that there's a new woman in town. So I would personally move out the way, but that's just me. Our next taboo is, should women be out in these streets proposing to men?
I guess I'll chime in. If that's something that y'all have talked about and y'all are both okay with it, that's fine. But I will not be getting down on my knee to propose to any man. Fortunately, I don't have to. But that's just not my thing. I'm just a more traditional person, but I feel like you got to discuss that with your partner because I feel like that can put people in uncomfortable positions. If I were to propose to my fiance, I think he would have been very uncomfortable. It would have been like, yeah, I didn't need you to do that. That was my thing. So personally, it's a no for me. But if you want to do it, that's on you. Just don't end up like Jim Jones and Chrissy, where you're stuck in that position because you wanted to jump ahead and do your thing. So that's my take.
That's one of those things that I think men should do. And the reason why I say that is because my thing with guys is I'm too independent, which I don't understand what that is, but okay. And so I think if a woman was to do that, I think she's like testing his manhood or taking away his manhood. That's just what I feel. That is something that he has to do. No, I'm traditional too. I want you to talk to my brother. And can I marry your sister or talk to my mom? I don't see me going to talk to mom. I want to marry such and such. You do I have your blessing? And she looking at me like, girl, especially if she from the season days, you know, and she's like, girl, you better not ask my son to marry him. Girl, when he's ready, he gonna ask you. I'm testing him. Now we gonna get married. I want to get married right now, and I'm gonna get on my knee and ask you. I'm not messing up my pants. That's not gonna happen. I'm not. Or if I got on some tights or something, I'm a woman. You know, you have the muscles up here, but you know, my knees, I'm a woman. You know, summertime come around, I got to wear my skirts and all that. I'm not gonna get on my knee for no man.
James says too independent means you're struggling with letting him lead. James, that's a whole other topic. We're not even gonna go there. I might have to get that on Chew Up the Meat Spit Out the.
Hopefully the man will take the initiative. Like for me, for instance, I don't have a problem with like let my intentions known, you know, let me be the one who fixes up a candlelit restaurant overlooking the water. So when you get there, the rose petals are in place and the music's all in place. So let me do that, you know. That's just me though.
That sounded like 100%. Girl, get up off your knees.
Pretty much. I mean, if you're gonna do that, then you may as well take her last name too.
Right. That is so right.
Erica says, if I'm gonna propose, he's gonna wear the wedding dress. That part, I think that's enough said. Here, let's see. If you feel like you have to get on your knee for a man, I don't think he's the one for you, respectfully. That's your sister in the building, isn't it? Go ahead and give her a shout out.
Hey, Naya. Thank you for tuning in. Love you.
That's a good comment. Gary says it's symbolic, the man asking for her to trust him as he leads. That's good. That's good. Belinda says, I like this. Powerful. Thank you for tuning in tonight, Belinda. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Come on, here goes some wisdom right here. Miss Vicky, how you doing? When a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing.
That's good.
I was wondering who was going to bring the scrumptious up in here. Come on. Let's get it right. We're gonna move on because ain't no need to talk about that. If you out here in these dating streets feeling like you got to propose to these jokers and ninjas and whatever else you want to call them, they ain't the right one. He ain't the right one. He ain't the right one. And if he lets you, you should run. Like, you really should. Because something ain't right about that brother. I'm just saying. Okay, we're going to move on. So let's move on. Now that we are, we're engaged, we need to talk about how we going to handle our finances. We doing 50-50 everything? What we doing? Is it 50-50 everything?
You're talking about paying bills, dating, all that?
I mean, you're going to half on the mortgage, half on the electricity, half on the water bill. You paying half for the restaurant bill. Like we doing 50-50?
We doing one account. What's yours is mine and what's mine is yours. So if you got a job and I got a job and it go in the account together, there is no 50-50. We married. We is chilling. So why are we doing 50-50? When my money from my job goes into that bank account, that is yours. Now to pay bills. Now don't go out there and buy you the new Jordans for $200 and we ain't talked about that. But as far as bills and stuff go, one account. That's how the bills. Now we could have two accounts. You know, Mama always said, put a little to the side because you never know what's gonna happen. And I'm pretty sure men do the same thing too. We all seen Martin and Gina. We see how that played out. So, one account where our money goes in, and then you know you got that other account, and you put that little money in, so you know he don't know everything. That's everything. You know what I'm saying? It's a little secrecy in all of this. We can't tell you everything. You know what I'm saying? But one account, one love, one relationship. That's it. Ain't no 50-50. We in this relationship 100-100. I don't want 50% of your time. I want 100% of your time. So 100% of your money go in that account, but only 75, or we're going to say 80-20 gonna go in that.
We got any 50-50 takers in here? So let's see what the people saying. James says, you're one now. It doesn't matter anymore. Gary says, run it like a business, general funds and operations. I think that's what Christina was saying. I don't know if I would say that the side account needs to be a secret account. I guess I'm one of those people. I just don't think you should have secrets with your spouse. It should be open knowledge that this is the account and this is what you got. This is what I got. And we know that we have these separate accounts. I don't think that it should be a secret that you have them. When I was married, when we finally got to the point where he saw things, you know, the way I told him it was the right way. Anyway, the issue was you got your account, I got my account, but I always had more money in my account. Then it was like, can I have some money? And it was like, no. You spent your money. So the count ain't secret. You just not finna take my coins. You spend all your coins, you know? So I don't know.
The way I look at it, I think it depends on where you are in life. Like maybe if you're younger, you may have to do the 50-50 to get by. I don't know, depending on who makes more money. But I'm old school. So the way I believe things should be, a man goes out, establishes himself, and then he finds a woman to make a home with her, right? So, like with me, I was married once before. I was married for 10 years. She passed away in 2012. All right. But the way things worked out for us, I went out, I bought a house, became a property owner, got a good job. And then once I got situated, I'm paying all the bills because I'm living alone. Then when she came along, that was just gravy, her income, you see. And so I continued to pay a majority of the bills because I had been doing it, and maybe she bought groceries or whatever, contribution that she would make. And so I just think as a man, I'm going to pay a majority of what goes on in the house. And I'm not saying it has to be that way. That's just the way that I was raised. Okay. My mom made more than my dad, but my dad took every bit of his check, gave it to her, and just kept enough to have gas money and food. Because that's just all he wanted to do is make sure the house was taken care of. And that's kind of the mindset that I have. Take care of the house. And then whatever she has is, gravy, maybe for vacations or, shopping or whatever else needs to be done.
I just think that what you just said, there should be a class set up so men know that, because some men, even when they were, and I'm gonna say some women, I'm not gonna put it all on the men, and women do the same thing too. I think there should be a seminar that women and men can sit down and they learn that, because I think the financial part of a relationship, that's what tears relationships up. And if I make more money than you do, now you're feeling less than a man when you shouldn't. We're doing this as one. So I just think that it should be one of those things that don't be scared. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. If the man only has money for groceries, okay, I knew what kind of job you got when we got together. So I just think that it needs to be said out there, because some people, they don't think like that. And that's what tears up marriages, the engagements and stuff like that. So I think that if more of the seasoned people in the mild season, and then the bland, that's how because I'm hungry. If they learn to do that, I think that we would be in a better, I think marriages and relationships will be saved, because that financial will kill you. That will tear up a relationship in a heartbeat.
Yeah, money and sex will destroy your marriage. James says, of course, she wants a class. Of course, she wants a class. Let's go to the next taboo. This is a good one. Work spouses. What do you think about this whole work hubby, work wife phenomenon that we got going on? A work spouse is, I have a husband at home, but when I go to work, when I go to my job, there's a man there that I have a really close relationship with.
Oh, no.
Really cool and all that kind of stuff. I may bring him lunch. He may bring me lunch. We even may have conversations on the phone after work or whatever, because he's a work hubby, but it's just a really, really tight friendship. But y'all call each other work husband or work wife. It's a thing. It's really a thing.
For me, it's inappropriate and it's unnecessary. Like, for your home life and your work life. I don't know, maybe it's just the way I was raised, but I'm all about my professionalism when I'm in the office. When I'm in my workspace, I don't even really see my coworkers as friends. We're just coworkers. If we find things in common and we're able to chat on the side, then okay, then maybe we can be friends outside of work. But even then, like, I just like to keep firm boundaries. I don't feel like when you're at work, you should be worried about having a boo or trying to flirt and be cute. Like, that's not your job to take care of your work husband. Your job is to go to work and do what your boss assigns you to do. And when you get caught up in having a work husband, not only is it disrespectful to your spouse, but you're disrespecting yourself, because are you being productive at work? If you're out for a promotion and you're spending time trying to flirt, like, are you going to get that promotion, or are you allowing this to be another distraction in your life and another distraction in your home? So I just feel like it's just unnecessary, inappropriate.
Nope, not in my vocabulary. Not today, not tomorrow, not never. If I got filet mignon at home, why am I going to try to run after some spam at work? It don't work like that,
Okay. Spam. That's y'all work vibes out there, y'all. Brian said it. You okay? Treat meat. Y'all know what treat meat is? Is nasty.
I'm gonna take care of my queen. I'm gonna take care of my queen at home.
That's
the one I'm in covenant with.
So if you're not married yet, if you're dating, you're committed, but you're dating, you're not married. Do they get to keep the work spouse until y'all get married?
Needs to be boundaries. If you're still committed, you're in a committed relationship, so that means anytime there's commitment involved, I think boundaries need to come up.
Yeah, I agree with him because in a lot of cases, a work spouse is just somebody you ain't slept with yet because y'all work together. So if you're single, that's one thing. You can have all the work booze you want. But if you're in a committed relationship or married, it's just a bad idea.
I think that even if you are not in a relationship and you are single, like, don't call me your work wife. I just feel like if my boss was to walk by and overhear that, like, what would be their perception of me? I just feel like it's fine if y'all want to have a relationship and date and you do find that person attractive, then keep that outside of work. You know, do that on y'all's own free time. Like, don't come in here and be trying to meet up with me in the print room or something. I just feel like that's not cool.
I didn't know that was a such thing.
Oh, it's a thing.
Oh.
It's a real thing. Lots of people do it. So I'm going to flip the script just a little bit here. Let's talk about curfews. You're in a committed relationship or you're married, either one. Does your person need to be home by 10 p.m. or no? Can they stay out as long as they want? What we doing? Oh, here we go.
This is my thing. I just think you should check in just to be safe. You know what I'm saying? Just to safe. But that's something that you should communicate with your loved one or your boo or your bear or whatever before it even gets to that situation. So, I mean, say for instance, you out with the boys and y'all chilling and stuff like that. I mean, he needs his space, you know, from your space. Just like when you go out with the girls, you might go to the club, you know, and it's just a girls' night out. It's a boys' night out. I don't think that it should be like a time limit unless y'all sit down and y'all say it's gonna be a time limit.
Now, Christina, you remember what the old folk used to say? Ain't nothing open after 12 but some legs. So, I'm just saying.
I mean, no.
What we doing at 1 o'clock in the morning? Like,
dancing, getting it on. We dancing. My legs is open, but I'm not sharing nothing with nobody. I'm dancing to the music. I'm dancing. That's it. That's why you have to have that trust in your person. Because what if after the club, me and the girls, we say, oh, we going to the Waffle House. Because you know I got to eat. I'll bring you something to eat. What you want to eat? Okay? All right. I'll order it for you. Like that. So
yeah.
I don't know. That's something that you got to talk with your loved one.
Yeah, I think you have to have an understanding for sure. Because, I mean, we're talking about grown people here. Now, if you're R. Kelly and you like them young, maybe they need a curfew. But if you're grown and everybody's grown here, I think that it's just a certain understanding. Because there are going to be times where people hang out. Now, if it's happening like often, then it may be a problem. But people hanging out with their friends every now and then, a friend comes in town you ain't seen in a while or something like that, then I just think you have to be respectable enough to say at whatever time, be it 10:30, 11, or whatever time, because you know your significant other better than anybody else, just say, hey, let me call home, let her know that I'm still hanging out with you and I'll be home at this time, expect me at this time, and something like that. Set expectations. Just don't leave it open-ended and come wandering in at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I think clear communication is the best thing. Like, as long as I know where you're going and who you're with in like a window of time of when you'll be back, like I'm fine, because sometimes I'm like, I need my peace and quiet. I don't feel like being bothered, but I still want you to go out and have fun. But if it's like you kind of mentioned, if it's happening all the time where the couple isn't able to spend quality time together, then that's when I feel like it's a problem. So like sometimes if my fiance goes out, I'm like, hey, like, how long are you going to be there? Do you mind coming back by like 8:00 because I wanted to watch a movie with you, or I wanted to go out with you tonight? That's not really a curfew, but just being open about the fact that you want to spend time with your significant other. But yeah, I don't really think a curfew is necessary as long as you trust that person. If you don't trust that person, then maybe you shouldn't be with them.
I don't think we need curfews. I will say, just like you all said, there's got to be respect in this thing. And I believe Erica said it. That's my girl. She said they better have good sense about the time. I'm not going to sleep by myself. I could be single for that. And I kind of feel that way. I feel like there's a decent, respectable time to be out. And then it's a time to go home. And Nicole, she said mines tend to go dark after dark. There's a level of respect that just happens when you decide to be in a committed relationship or to get married. And 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock, you know, if the sun beating you home, I don't know. I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna have a problem with that. Because when I go to sleep, when I wake up and gotta go pee in the middle of the night, you better be right there.
I can definitely agree with that. And I think another thing too is not even just about not trusting your partner, but with the way that Black men are getting like killed and arrested these days, it's just kind of like you got to be more mindful of like where you're at and what time, because you don't want to put yourself in a predicament. So I think again, that's where the communication comes in. Like if you're gonna be out for a long amount of time, then periodically text me. Give me a call. And with my fiance, like I have his location, he has mine, so that if anything were to ever happen, we're able to locate each other.
Just a sidebar, the fact that you even are thinking safety tells us the times that we're living in. Because I'm gonna just be honest, I wouldn't, at 20 something years old, I wasn't thinking, oh, my man is out. Is he safe? Like, did the cops stop him? I really wasn't. That wouldn't be a thing that would be going through my mind if he wasn't at home, you know, at a decent hour. So I don't know. I just thought that was a sidebar, especially coming from you, Aleceia, because this is the time you're growing up in your 20s and 30s, right? Where that is a real thought. Like, I ain't concerned about him being out with some girl, but there's this thought that he might be, you know, in a dangerous situation. So that's a good one. All right, everybody. We got time for one more, and then we gotta go. We still shacking up? Is that still taboo or nah? Y'all quiet.
I feel like if you're raised in a very strict religious or Christian background, then it's definitely taboo. I know that my fiance and I, we were at like dinner. I have my own house. He had his apartment. And his aunt came up to us at dinner in front of everybody and was like, y'all know, y'all, you know, what are y'all doing? Y'all moving in together? Like, y'all know y'all don't need to be shacking up. And I'm like, first of all, this is not the time or place. But I think that shows that it's a lot of people are still like, you shouldn't be living with your significant other unless you're married. I really feel like it's dependent on the couple. I'm not super against it, even though I know a lot of my elders are, but I really feel like it's you and your partner's situation. And that's something that y'all have to talk about. And I know that you didn't bring this up, but I do think that it is possible to live with your significant other and not do anything with them.
See, the only reason I didn't bring that up is because we got like 2 minutes and 20 seconds left and we gotta go. Because that's a deep one. Mm-hmm. We were discussing before all of you came on the whether or not if if you were saying that you're going to abstain until you get married, but for whatever reason you want to combine your residences, you know, could you shack and not have sex? And Aleceia says she thinks it's possible. But this 43-year-old gal said,
It's a fine line. It's a fine line, yeah.
I don't know if I could. I need to test the waters out just a little bit. I just need to test the waters out. Because what if you get with this person, and I'm not speaking for me, I'm speaking for my friend. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? You might love that person, but sex is a big thing. It's a big thing. So maybe 6 months before we get married. I don't know.
You sound like Raphael. Raphael says shacking up is mandatory before I subscribe. Let's kick you off of Speak Up Sis podcast right now. You got the girl in a treasure box, a toy box, and I'll on a subscription on a trial basis. My goodness. I don't know what to say about that. Q, you look like you want to say something. Can we shack and not do anything? What we doing?
I always want to say something. No, I can't do the shacking thing. I just can't either. I'm not mystical. You're going to be down with me, be all the way down with me, you know? And if you want to get married, and then at that point we can share a dress. But other than that, you're just company. I don't need a roommate without a lease. It's way too much problems that happen where people live together and then it doesn't work out. And now you can't go to divorce court because you're not married. So now you got all these legal issues of how to separate this and that, who gets the dog, all that stuff. I'm not doing that. Either you're going to take my last name and move into this house, or you can stay where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian?
Yeah. It's and trying to live together without it's a fine line, you know. It's, you may say you stay on that part of the couch, we watching Netflix, but next thing you know, what happened was, you know, that's a fine line. Yeah. But if possible, there's ways to hold out. I think, you know, it's worth it. You know, I know a lot of people are shacking up and, you know, find that it's worth it. I believe dating is research for a lifetime investment. So that includes finding everything out, because once you say I do, that's you know.
Vicky say, because Jesus say no. I'm with you on that one, Miss Vicky. I'm going to listen, I would be remiss if I did not say that Jesus say no. So it's a hard no from me. So anybody that's watching this and you thinking that you kind of want to make me your boo thing, you can't get no cookies, okay? Your hand can't go in the cookie jar. We're not doing no tasting, smelling, nothing. So you put a ring on it. I'm just saying. Miss Vicky made me go there. Okay. So James said, James doing all, he's talking about you're lying to yourself thinking you're shacking up without sex. You're right. I think I don't know. I think that's a hard sell. The two of you have got to be like virgins and scared to touch each other. That's the only, like, neither one of you have ever gone down in the water. And no, other than that, no, you're fooling yourself. I'm with you on that one. And Erica says, for the spiritual aspect, shacking up gives the appearance of sin. So it's a no go, even if you're not having sex. I'm with you on that, sis. So listen, everybody, we are done for the night. This has been an awesome conversation with you all. I feel like I picked the best panelists for this particular conversation. Thank y'all so much for saying yes to me. I really appreciate you. Do you all have any brief last words that you want to share with our audience before we let them go? I'll start up top with the ladies. Aleceia?
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Miss Angel, for inviting me. Whenever you're ready for round 2,
right,
you can call me.
I'm going to reserve that until after you've been married, about 6 months.
Okay.
That's what's up. Christina.
I do think we should have a part 2 to this because there was a lot. I think the men were a little quiet. I need them to come on, tell me, let's get in the nitty gritty because sometimes we need to know a man's thoughts on certain things. But I do, I always like to be on your podcast. You know that. But I'm glad to have met all of you guys. I'm hungry. My pork chops is ready. So y'all already know what I'm finna do.
Listen, everybody, Christina Jackson is on another episode of Speak Up Sis podcast. We did a one-on-one where she's talking about epilepsy. It's an amazing podcast episode. Please go check it out. All right. And Q.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I had a good time. And I really enjoyed your other guests. I thought Aleceia is wise beyond her years. Christina was funny. She's direct. Brian, it was cool meeting you, man. I like some of the things you had to say. Your idea for a marriage proposal sounded like something out of a movie. So, man, I don't know if you're married or not, but if not, you probably got a lot of women lined up.
The romantic side of me trying to come out. I try to keep it creative, but not married yet.
Okay. All right. But thank you, Angel. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for saying yes. I appreciate you. And Brian, we've been trying to connect for a minute now.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we were able to make it happen. You got any last words before we leave for the night?
Thank you again so much for having me on, and I would definitely be down for a part 2. I appreciate meeting all the other panelists. Y'all were great, and it was a good time.
That's what's up. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight and tuning in to Speak Up Sis podcast. Every first Monday of the month, we have these blue flame conversations. Why blue flame? This is the hottest part of the fire. So you all asked for the hot topics. So I'm going to give it to you every first Monday of the month. If you would like to be a guest on Speak Up Sis podcast, please visit speakupsis.com/podcast. And there's a form there and you can just complete it, submit it, and someone will get back with you about being a guest on the show. Thank you to all of you for joining us tonight, as well as my guests. I appreciate you. And don't forget, everybody, open up your mouth and speak up. Bye.
Can this be